I moved to Mexico, giving you a sneak peek into the lives of Americans and Canadians who live in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Hi,
Hello.
thank you for tuning in. I'm Diani Leal, aka Dianimite, and this series is brought to you by Dianimite Lifestyle and Real Estate, based in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. We're here today with Humberto Pacheco, CEO of Naya Homes, who has a really interesting story, which I'm really excited to hear about.
Cool. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about it.
So, Humberto, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Take us back to the beginning. Where are you from? And what is your connection to Mexico? Where are you living? What are you doing? What's your story?
Absolutely. I was born in Costa Rica, and I lived there until I was like 15 years old, and then the world started calling, and it sounds kind of cheesy, but after that, I've lived around in many countries. Lived in Costa Rica, lived in Colombia, lived in Mexico. Now I live in the U.S. And I guess the common thread has always been that I wanted to explore the world a little bit, and live in different places and enjoy different cultures and learn about different cultures. And so at a certain point in time, I moved to Mexico, and I lived in Mexico City for 3 years and absolutely fell in love with the country, right? Fell in love with the people, with the food, with the culture. And then I visited Vallarta, and I realized that this place was magical, right? And so back then I was working in technology. I built a career in the technology space and in startups. And as a couple of friends and I started thinking about what to build, we realized, how can we mix these places that we love with traveling, which we love, bring technology to it, and fundamentally provide a better service and a better experience. And that's how we ended up starting Naya and choosing Puerto Vallarta as the first market that we would build out a little bit.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's a really
Mm.
cool story. Just really inspirational to hear about just taking off and traveling the world, especially at such a young age, at
Mhm.
15. It's really exciting to hear about for people, I think. And I was just wondering, so what do you do now? Like, where do you live? Do you live in
Yeah.
Mexico, or do you live in the States, or where?
Yeah. So I
What's going
live.
on?
So I'm married to a New Yorker, and we have kids, and we were living in Mexico City until kind of 2021, when after a 12-year tour we decided that it was time to go back and live in New York. So we moved over there, but Mexico called and kept calling, right? So the fact that we were building a business here really allowed me to stay connected to Mexico. And so I travel a lot, right? So I'm generally in Puerto Vallarta about 1 week, and then in New York another, and it's a lot of travel, but it's well worth it.
Yeah, wow, that seems like a lot.
It can be, but you know what? I love spending time over there, and then every Monday, or on Mondays every 2 weeks, I look forward to coming down here and working down here with my team. My co-founders are here, but coming down, spending time with them, being able to talk to customers and be close to our clients and enjoy Puerto Vallarta every 2 weeks is pretty special as well.
Yeah, it's not a bad gig.
It's not a bad gig at all.
So, what can you tell us a little bit more about Naya
Mm-hmm.
Homes?
Yeah, so essentially, Naya started because all of us, and we're three co-founders, but all of us had gone to different types of Airbnbs that you would think would be amazing, where the experience would be amazing, right? Everything from like a big house where you're taking your family to, or a nice apartment that looked beautiful. And we all had experiences that ranged from amazing to not great. And we started wondering, like, what does that happen in a place that should be magical, right? And it's because running Airbnbs is tough, right? It's hard if you're an owner trying to operate by yourself. Even kind of some PMs or property managers find it challenging to provide a great experience. And so we thought to ourselves, how could we bring technology, and where are the big pain points, right? And so we figured out that there were three main components that were essential, that where we could bring our experience and our technology and make a difference. And the first one was making owners more money, right? So we spend a lot of time optimizing properties, marketing them, listing them in as many channels as possible, doing dynamic pricing, and a lot of things that help owners get the most amount of occupants, get the best rates possible, and therefore make the most amount of money, right? So
Yeah.
that's a part that, and you know this because You talk to investors consistently, right? People are
Yeah.
investing in the sector, but they're looking for the best returns possible, and we make those happen for owners.
Yeah.
But that's really not all there is to owning a property, right? This is you make an investment potentially in another country or far from home in your vacation home, and when you use it, you want it to be great. You want
Yeah.
to preserve the asset. You want it to be clean. You want it to be well maintained. And so there's a lot that goes into making sure that these properties are well cared for, right? So our home care component is very important. And finally, that last challenge was, how do I make sure that the guests have a great experience? And so how do you provide five-star hospitality to people that are staying in your home? And there we also have built out a lot. And so we looked at it and we're like, with technology and great operations, we can do those three things. We can bring a higher level of service and really build something meaningful in markets like Puerto Vallarta.
Wow. And so you guys are right now, you're in Mexico City,
Mm-hmm.
you're in Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, and we're launching in Baja California, in Cabo, in the next couple of weeks as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're building to scale.
Yes, but making sure that we never lose touch that we're an owner-centric company, right? Our
Yeah.
owners are our core focus, being close to them. So while we want to be in more geographies, we never want to be far from our owners. And so kind of owners have my WhatsApp number. They reach out to me. They reach out to my co-founders. They reach out to the members of the team. So we want to definitely build something that grows, but never losing track that we want to be close to our owners.
Wow. That's great. I'm just kind of curious. This is a lot of work, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
right? And especially, you're going back and forth between New York, Mexico. You're building this, thing to this, machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a very big vision. You're probably working nonstop on this. It's very ambitious. What drives you? What motivates you to, keep at it?
Yeah, I think that I've always thought that motivation comes from within, right? You're not going to be motivated by things that are outside of you. Really, like real motivation, right? So you have to make sure that whatever you're doing is aligned with what you value, right? And so for us, it's really about kind of, we love to travel. We love to explore the world. We love to explore the world like a local, so in an apartment, not so much as a hotel. And we love kind of to help people, right? Whether it's owners on how best to care for and make the most from their properties, or guests that want to have a great time, right? And so the fact that I get to work doing that and in beautiful places just keeps me highly motivated, right?
Yeah.
It's very interesting, but being able to build a company and then in the middle of the day go have a taco at the beach is pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and it's pretty different than anything else that we could be building.
It's
So,
true. Yeah. Living the dream.
absolutely.
So, the other thing I was kind of, wondering about, and I think a lot of our viewers are interested in moving to
Mm-hmm.
Mexico, and they are interested in some of the logistics. I know you already explained a
Mm-hmm.
lot of what Naya Homes does for home buyers. What does it look like? How do they reach you? How do they find that information?
Sure.
What's the cost? And for people that might be interested in exploring that as an option.
Yes, absolutely. So when we launched in Puerto Vallarta, we wanted to be very conscious to be priced well within the market, but offer much more value, right? So we charge a pretty standard property management fee of 20% of the revenue that we generate, and we charge a monthly property management fee to take care of the properties, and that ranges between $125 and $300 for condos, generally, depending on the size, and so that's a little bit about how we charge. If you've bought a property or already own a property and are looking for a property manager, you can find us at our website, nayahomes.co. Our information will be in the description of the video. But we try to make things as easy as possible, right? So owners will reach out to us. We'll provide a free assessment of what their property can actually make so that they understand what expectations to have. And that varies, of course, by location and by property type. And then reach an agreement and start kind of onboard their unit. We take professional photography of their unit to make sure that their unit is presented in the best way possible, and off we go, right? We start listing their
Yeah.
property in the channels that we use, and start optimizing for them to rent it out.
Wow. So you really take care of the marketing aspect largely.
Well, really, and that's an interesting question, right? But depending on where you are in your journey, that can look differently, right? So if your home isn't furnished yet, we can provide you with advice on that. If you're looking to buy
Wow.
and you've already found an agent, we can have a conversation for you on with you on what will one property return versus another property, right? So
Yeah.
so really, once you've owned that property and you're ready to rent out, then we can get on that very
Right. It's
fast.
time to go.
But
Yeah.
if you're at the stage where you're thinking about what you want to buy, we can be extremely helpful there as well.
Really? So that's really interesting you say that because I love the revenue projections that you guys
Yeah.
provide for my clients who are largely investors. Everybody's really interested in, in how, what is the, the vacation rental income potential,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a tongue twister
Yeah,
there,
absolutely.
of their, their property.
Yeah.
And you guys provide some very detailed and helpful projections,
Mm-hmm.
annual in revenue projections that cover both occupancy and actual numbers of what,
Mm-hmm.
what your estimated gross income is.
Yep.
So what people can obtain that, agents can obtain that from you and share that with
Mm-hmm.
with their clients. And how does that impact people that are looking for a property and their decision and actually purchasing the property or not?
Absolutely, right. So one of the great advantages of being a tech first company is the fact that we've accumulated a lot of data. We have a lot of analytics, and we can predict it well how much a property is going to make, right? And so that's helpful for everybody, by the way, right? It's helpful to have the transparency when you're going to invest. If you don't want to rent it out, it's still helpful for you to know what you could rent out your property for. So we try to make this available pretty broadly. And we have a program with brokers and agents such as yourself, where if they're in the process of selling, they can reach out to us and we'll provide those revenue estimates, and they can show them to clients. And this is proven to be very helpful for customers buying, right? Because we can tell you the difference between buying in a single building, a 3-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, or
Absolutely.
two properties that may be the same price, one in the zona romantica and one in bucerias, and we can run estimates for you so that you can make a decision and at least consider that when you're buying, because maybe you prefer one property and you'll choose the one that generates less because that's the one you love and want to be in. But if you're an investor, then no, with the same amount of money, I'm making more here, and this is a smarter investment.
Yeah.
So we try to do that. Again, we do that a lot with brokers and agents that reach out to us, so that there is that third party verified data. But we also do it for lots of people that are already owned. And on our website, there's a revenue calculator that people can input their address into and run a first estimate. It's not as precise as what we run if they reach out to us directly, and they can do that on the website as well. But at least it gives them that first step to understanding what their property could make.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
really, really valuable thing to contribute to people that are shopping for a home.
Absolutely.
And it's, it's important. It makes a big difference to make an informed decision. I mean, it's a big decision. It's a big investment. You want to know exactly all the details of what you're looking at. So
Yep.
what a great thing that you're able to provide people with.
Yeah, I think it's value, and it's something that we can help with, right?
Yeah. So I just have two more questions, and
Sure.
we're just about to wrap up. But one, these are for every interview, is what do you miss the most about back home?
So that one's easy, right? About Costa Rica, I miss my family, right? My parents, my brother, my niece,
They all still live there.
they all still live there, so I miss them.
Do you go back and visit often?
Yeah, I try to go as often as possible. They visited New York as well, and we go whenever we can. The summer, my kids love going down there and having a great time. So that's very nice. Yeah. So that's what I miss the most, really.
Of course,
Mhm.
yeah. And what do you love about or like the most about Puerto Vallarta?
Yeah. I think it's a fight between the amazing and varied food there is here, right? I love the seafood here. I could eat here just every day. I'm at a different restaurant. I
Oh, the
just love
seafood is
it.
really good.
Absolutely. So I'm a food driven person, as you can probably imagine. So that's one of them. But also, I just love the ocean, right? And the bay here offers so much, right? You can be in the zona romantica, but in 45 minutes you can be in Punta Mita surfing, and it's amazing. And there's diving, and there's like wind, surfing in Bucerias. Like it's just a place that offers so much if you love the ocean, the diving, the fishing, everything. So it's
I
so
know.
yeah, I think it's just a wonderful, magical place.
It is. It's such a nice vibe,
Mm-hmm.
and just
Yeah,
it being so close. And my husband talks about that all the time. Like,
yeah,
where else? Where can we go in the States where we would be, so close to the beach
yeah,
all the
yeah,
time? I mean, and it really is
yeah.
expansive. Like, no matter where
No,
you go, you're pretty close.
no,
And
absolutely.
it's
Yeah, the
yeah,
people are great. People are really sweet here,
yeah.
very nice, right? It's safe. So I don't know. There's just what's not to love about Puerto
It's so
Vallarta, you know?
true. It's so
Mm.
true. Well, thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for joining us.
Mhm.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and follow if you haven't yet. And for those that are interested in learning more about Naya Homes, check out our description. We'll have a link to Naya Homes. Make sure to visit their website, see what they have to offer, and use that revenue projection tool that they've invented, which is pretty incredible. And until next time,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.